Hello snowboarders of the internet. I'm your host Avran LeFeber. In this video we're going to break down the Salomon Dialogue Dual Boa. We're going to go through some of the features on it, just some initial impressions of the material, the quality, and who I would recommend this boot for. Now remember, the best boot is the one that fits your foot and fits your needs. So make sure you're going to your local shop, you're getting sized properly. You know who you are, you're upsizing for whatever reason. Don't do that. You want it nice and snug and perfectly fit. And then get the boot that fits your needs. Is this the boot that's going to? I don't know. But hopefully if you watch this video and this was a boot you're considering, you'll know what you're looking for in it. With the shell of this boot, they went for kind of a more minimalistic approach with the seams and whatnot to help protect it. So you have a welded toe cap over there. You'll notice that there really aren't any seams. What this is going to do is help protect you from the edge of your board if you're resting on the chairlift. You also have like a glued seam. So what you have is no real seams here for when you're resting your board on there. This is going to help protect it. And then as you get closer to where the eyelets are for the BOA cable, you got a dual stitch seam. And this will take some abuse before it actually separates. You just got to kind of be aware of that. So while you don't have an aggressively high back spine, you do have one with some rubber, urethane, and other materials in there that's going to add to the rebound. And then you do have this foam, which is pretty much for cosmetics. So this is going to allow for a bigger cutout on there. So you guys with those big calves, this is going to actually help you in there. You'll also notice on the sides of this that it's got like a rough rubber to it. Basically, you know, if someone's peeing on you at the urinal, this is going to protect you. It's also going to protect you from scuffs and be a little bit more durable as well. The Dialogue is what I would call the Salomon classic boot. Like, it's been in their line forever. It's not the stiffest, it's not the softest. It does have some minor articulation right there at the cuff. You'll notice when I'm flexing into it, it's fighting it a little bit. This is going to break, and like I said, it's a very minor articulation. You can actually see like it doesn't go as deep as other boots in their line. This boot does feature a dual zone BOA, so you got your lower and your upper. That way you can just dial in where you want it tight, whether it's across the instep and lower or around the calf. Maybe you want it fully cranked. It's nice because then you're not beholden to just one option with it. It also has, so what this does is it eliminates any eyelets in the middle for the crisscross, so the cables just cross over each other. This is going to release any of those pressure points that you might feel with other boots that have this in there. It allows it to get more snug and whatnot. Personally, I'm a steel cable kind of guy, but the cloth cable does have its favorable attractors to it as well. With the internal harness, this is sewn into the shell of the boot and it comes up to the top. So this is a higher harness. This is really gonna allow you to crank that liner tight and get it to wrap around with the boot. It's gonna just help it flex more naturally and whatnot in there. One thing I wanna talk about with the internal harness is this yellow tab here is on a Velcro closure. So you can actually open this up and pull the cable out if you need to. So if you want to move this thing around, play with it, you can. With the sole of this boot, you got two things going on. You got rubber around the toe and the heel. This is going to give you that added grip. That, in my opinion, grips a lot better. It also does a better job of dampening like those bigger jarring hits. You just feel it kind of absorb that a little bit more than the foam, in my opinion. I know that some people will say, no, that's the other way around. And I'm like, no, I've noticed when you land on your toes, this does a better job. It just seems to be a little more rigid. It could also just be personal preference as well. It does have kind of a high sole to it as well. So if you're coming down hard, you're riding a lot of chunky terrain, this might be something to consider because it will help dampen that kinetic energy and those vibrations as well. Are you enjoying this video? Cool. You know what I need you to do? Give it a thumbs up, feed that algorithm. And if you haven't already, go down, subscribe, click the bell, get those notifications. That way you're not missing any of the programming we've got coming out for you. Because let's be real, some people might make content, we make programming. There are so many videos for you guys. The liner on this is Salomon's Response liner. So the foam isn't the thickest in there. This will pack out a little bit, but it's not going to pack out a lot because it's just not like a super soft foam in there. It's a little more hard. You're going to notice that you got a little bit more malleable foam out here at the front. So this is going to help just push it out if you got wider calves in there. The other thing is, if you look at this, it's got a deep heel pocket, but it's not crazy deep. You do have internal J-bars on there as well. It's not the most technologically advanced liner on the market, but it's consistent. Like, this is something that you can put on most people and be like, hey, okay, here you go. If they're like, I want something more responsive, then you got to bump up. But if they're just like, hey, I'm a casual cruiser, it's not really a bad option. This is their stock insole. You really trust this to give you some arch support? Get rid of it. Get an aftermarket. You'll be a lot happier. So this is a Mondo Point 27.5 or US 9.5. And we're just going to measure this just to show some measuring this. It comes up to an 11 in the back with the liner in the shell. And on the front, we're getting at about 10.5 on the side. It's about 10.25. So measuring the shell, if we stick the tape measure in there at the back, it's 10.5 on the tongue. We're looking at 10.5, and on the side, it's about 10.25, give or take. Measuring this at the forefoot, I usually line this up right at the 1 inch mark. It goes from 1 inch to 5 inches, so that's 4 inches. So it's a little bit wider in there, and they do offer this in a wide version. This is not it. So you basically can understand that you've got a little more width in the forefoot. You also get a 1-to-1 sizing, which means it's a true last for the shell and the liner. So for every half size, there's a new mold being used. So that's just going to make it more minimal with its overall footprint and design. I'd recommend this boot to someone that's got an average width forefoot and then a slightly narrower heel, not an aggressively narrow, just a slightly narrower one, and someone that's got a bigger calf muscle. If you do have a wider foot, you obviously want to go to the wide model in that, but it still stands. Someone that doesn't have like a super narrow heel, but maybe just slightly narrower, but with a bigger calf muscle to it. Like what we're doing here? Want to support us further? Swing on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP and become a member. Sure, I could tell you more here, but I got a video over there that explains it so much better. All right, so hopefully we've given you a better understanding of the Dialog Dual Boa. You learned a little bit about the features, kind of who this boot might be for, and now you're going to go down to your shop and buy one, or you're going to shop online and be prepared to possibly return it. Or not, I don't really know. Anyways, if you don't think this is the boot for you, why don't you go watch one of our other boot breakdowns? Believe me, we've done a lot for you.